eventually ended up becoming a accidental cinematographer. That story is for another day. But yeah, glad to be here. When I was growing up in small town Andhra Pradesh, as a young boy, I remember going to the movies. I watched movies of Mani Ratnam, Shankar sir, like Dalapati, Bombay, Dil Se, Jeans, Indian, so inspiring visuals, right? When the credits start rolling, the name of the cinematographer used to stand out. Probably because the cinematographer has cinema in it. I don't think any other credit has it. And the names P.C. Sriram, Rajiv Menon, Santosh Sivan, Ravi K. Chandran, these names used to pop out. Such poetic names they used to sound. And from that young boy to become a cinematographer myself, after so many years, I just want you guys to be introduced to my world as a cinematographer. That's me. In my last film, we were shooting in my hometown, Rajahmundry, and I think it's been quite a journey from that little boy who used to watch movies in the theaters to be actually shooting a film in my hometown. So who is the cinematographer? Cinema is a visual medium. When we all go and watch a movie in a movie theater, in a dark movie hall, as the visuals start streaming in on the mighty majestic big screen, you start seeing these majestic big visuals of landscapes, beautifully crafted close-ups, and the person of the cinematographer is the one who designs them. If I can sum up the job of a cinematographer in one line, that would be the eye of the film. The eye of the film, what does it even mean? And that is dependent upon what is the genre of the film and the visual which comes out from our mind. When you're reading the script, you kind of figure out there's a mental image that forms, right? When you're reading books, when you're reading some fiction novel, you start seeing it in your mind. As my guru, Mr. Rajiv Menon, used to say, you first see the visual on your mind's screen, which is why it converts into the big screen from your mind. So that is the beauty of cinema, where everything is created in the mind, is being shown on the big screen. And whenever you go watch a movie, what is it that you're actually seeing? It is a world, the worldview of that particular director or the cinematographer. It is that worldview, their point of view of how they see the world, that you're paying money to go watch. That is cinema. That is the beauty of cinema. And the cinematographer is the person who paints the image with light. The person of the cinematographer stands in front of the image and says, how do I want to show this to the audience? And it's not just beautiful images. It is not just beautiful images. It is to tell a story. Cinema has sound, there's a background score, there's a dialogue. But beyond all of that, it's a visual medium. If you switch off the sound, if you switch off the background score, everything, even then, if you're able to tell the story, if you're able to feel the story, or feel what the character is going through, that is good cinematography. Good cinematography is not just beautiful images. Beautiful images is basically what? If you follow the rules, like, there are different tools for good imagery, but it's not just that. You need to make the audience feel a certain emotion. That is the job of the cinematographer. We can move on. Well, the job of the cinematographer has multiple things that need to be done by them. One of the first things is developing the look and visual theme of the film. It is also called the visual grammar of the film. When you say the look of the film, what is the look of the film? Fixing the look of the film is based on the genre and vision for the film. When I said vision, it is the vision of the director. It is their worldview. When we go watch Avatar, we're looking at how James Cameron looks at life. His life experience as a deep diver comes into Avatar, Way of the Water. It's their life experiences that come into the film. Well, it is entirely dependent upon what is the genre. Is it a gritty thriller, or a romantic comedy, or a film set in some other world like Mars? So it is entirely dependent upon what we are trying to tell, which is first thing, the color palette, right? What is a color palette? Colors evoke emotion in the mind. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, why is the color red in the restaurant? The reason is the color red makes us hungry. It is our roots in the forest, like seeing blood and things like that. whereas a soft color like pink is associated with love, blue for loneliness. So these particular decisions are made at the script stage. When we all come together, sit in a pre-production table and say that, hey, okay, this is a script. How do we want to show the audience? How do we want to make the audience feel through color and contrast? Contrast is obviously how high the brighter side has to be and how low the darker side has to be. Well, one way to develop the look of the film is through getting inspired by the masters. When I was in film school, I was told to learn from artists like Rembrandt, who is also one of my favorite painters, Jean Renoir, Van Gogh. Also photographers like Raghu Rai. Raghu Rai's work has inspired my work so much because I love color. And Christopher Doyle's work, Vittorio Storaro. These are all masters that we sit and learn from. Like Ekalavya, you sit and observe their work and study from what they've done. So that is how you learn cinema. That is how you learn cinematography. Not just by the technicalities of it. Technicalities anybody can learn by going on a YouTube platform or doing an MA. But the life experiences, the books that you read, the paintings that you watch, those things nobody can teach you. They have to come from within you, from your heart. That's a contact sheet of one of my films, Captain Miller. As you can see, it has a certain palette. It has like this burnt, lots of reds to show the aggression, to show the warmth, to show danger. And you have this, the film is set in 1940s British India. So we need to give a period look to it. So you can kind of see it in this. Let's see some examples, yeah? Mad Max, okay, I knew that was gonna be the answer. Anyway, so if you look at the world of Mad Max, right? It would have come from the script. And you would have said, the director would have said, George Miller, he's like super old, and the cinematographer is John Seale. And they would have thought, this is a dystopian world, you know, where everything is broken. So how do we construct this world through color? The desert is shown with burnt reds, oranges, where there is no life. You can feel the heat just by looking at the image. And the contrast makes it very gritty. When you watch it, you're already in it. So that is the look of the film. Contrast that to the second image, which is one of my favorite films. Anybody can tell which movie it's from? Scarlett Johansson's debut film, as an adult. It's one of my favorite films. The film is about loneliness and femininity and love. It is a person who's living along with a photographer boyfriend who's on an assignment in Tokyo. Tokyo is such a city where there's so many people, but you feel so lonely, right? How do you tell that effectively? Through color. You can switch off everything, look at this image and say that what is the cinematographer trying to say? The pinks bring out love. The blues bring out the loneliness. It's somber colors, which make it a little sad. Right? Do you feel it? Do you all feel it? Now, that's how you break down how you want to tell your story. And the next one, what's this film? Come on, you guys have to tell me this one. Sorry? Excellent. One of my favorite films. I can watch it any number of times. And you can see, you can't see the color so much, but actually there's strong red in the back. And you see the beautiful close-up, man. That's so Quentin Tarantino. And the beautiful light on the face, which is Robert Richardson's great lighting, and the backlight, which is so strong. So all of these things, it's a very highly stylized film, visually. It's a very Quentin Tarantino look. So when you look at a film, you can also say who the director is or who the cinematographer is, because it is their worldview. So every cinematographer, each cinematographer might be given the same scene, but each person will come out with a different result because of their understanding of the world. That is the cinematographer's job. Okay, we can move on to the next one. Okay. One of the most important things, the first things that you do when you figure out your film is choose the camera and the lenses. Because there are multiple cameras in the market, like Red camera, there's Sony Venice, there's the Arri Alexa. But each camera has its own quirkiness to it. The Alexa has a very painterly quality. It's a German camera. The Sony Venice has a little bit of softness in the image, which can give a lot of latitude in the post, whereas red has strong colors. So you choose your camera based on how you want to tell the story. So you do a lot of experimentation. And of course, there are also the lenses which you have to choose, because lenses have you have like vintage lenses from 1900s to modern lenses like signature primes, which are used for ad films, which are very refined quality of image. So how do you look at the film? And based on that, you figure out your camera and lenses. Now, in my film, Captain Miller, we had a little bit of a predicament. What happened was that, how many of you have watched the film, Captain Miller? Great, yeah. So in the film, if you've watched it, it's 1940s British India, happens in a small village down in southern India. Everything is great. We shot it very realistically with natural light and all of that, but we wanted the nights to look very real and artistic. Now, shooting in nights is very tricky, okay? Why? Because you hardly have enough light. What are the primary light sources in the night? One is the moonlight, fire. I mean, I'm talking about 1940s, India, small village. Lanterns. But the problem is, you cannot shoot a film with these sources. You can't expose an image with moonlight, right? So what do? We did a little bit of experimentation and we figured out that Sony Venice camera has two ISOs, which is 800, which is a standard ISO, and the 3200, which is a specific ISO where you can shoot things with lower light. And we used that. And we didn't use any light sources except for real firelight. And I won an award for Film Companion Gold, Mrs. Anupama Chopra's thing. She had given me an award for it. Yeah, I think I'd like to end the presentation here. Yeah, thank you.